Mike Douglas is Michigan's retirement coach.
I'm Heather Branch here with Mike, talking about ways to help you better prepare for your financial future. Asking Mike, a certified financial planner, retirement planner, financial advisor. You have many accolades, which is what I appreciate about you. Preach about you. I talk real good for a living, in case you didn't know. Lifeplanwealth.com is where you can go to begin your own conversation with Mike and his entire team, figuring out all that there is for you. Unfortunately, it's all upon you now to figure out your retirement. There's a lot to do. Mike and his team are working on it every single day in their office, and they are here to work on your plan with you as well. We have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there if that is more convenient. Or again, find us anytime at lifeplanwealth.com. I do not have to explain to you or anybody else all of the conversation that has been happening around since it was 2020. Was it 2021 that the inflation rates blew up?
2022.
Okay. So 2022 inflation rates blew up, and that's been the conversation because we haven't seen inflation rates at that level. Fortunately, they've come down, but I think it was like since the 70s that we hadn't seen inflation rates at that level.
Yeah.
And so the Fed obviously jumped in, started doing what they needed to do to try to get those rates down by raising up interest rates. And what's been interesting in your world, the world of financial and retirement planning, is interestingly enough, opportunities that higher interest rates have presented for a lot of people, investors, and other opportunities outside of the market to create some added security into our investment and retirement plans. So now that we have lowered the inflation rate, now that the Fed has, it's down to 3.1, down from its high at 9.1. That was June 2022. Wall Street is hoping that we will see interest rates start coming down in 2024. And there's just so many opinions on the good, the bad, the ugly of all of that. Former PIMCO chief economist Paul McCulley was on CNBC and had this to say.
The Fed is finished tightening. That's the big issue. The debate now is all about the timing and the magnitude of the easing cycle to come. And we'll be starting the new year, I think, with a warm and fuzzy tone, but not an urgent tone from the standpoint of cutting.
I don't think Paul McCulley knows what a warm and comforting tone is.
Right.
Like, even though he's giving it good information, that dude is just shouting at you right there.
He's right.
Like,
he's got
they're coming down, and this can be a warm and soothing tone. I'm like, I don't think you know what that means. I don't think you think that means what.
Do you understand what warm and fuzzy is, sir?
Right.
So if he is right, will this result in a decrease in some of the attractive rates that we're seeing in things like CDs, money markets, treasuries, and annuities? Do investors need to be trying to jump on the bandwagon for those opportunities to lock in best rate opportunities now? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think that we're in a very interesting time frame where for a very short window, we have attractive bank rates. You know, a lot of people we talk to, they remember the good old days of, you know, like the 80s and 90s and even the early 2000s when you would buy laddered CDs. And the whole point of a laddered CD is I'm going to buy a 1 year, a 2 year, a 3 year, 4 year, 5 year. And then just they keep coming up. And as long as rates are good, I buy another 5 year when the ladder comes up. And it's a great way because what's supposed to happen is if I give a bank my money for 5 years, they're going to give me a better return than if I give it to them for only 1 year.
Right.
And that's the model, right? And that makes sense because we know banks take our money and they lend it out and they do all their stuff with it. Meanwhile, we just have ours and we do what we can. Right now, it's a very unique time in the history where if you buy a 1 year CD, it is a better rate than a 5 year CD because banks know, lenders know, anybody in the fixed income community knows that rates are coming back down in the next year to 2 years. UBS put out a study that they believe there's going to be 6 cuts in the next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, like some crazy amount of numbers of the cuts we could expect. I can't imagine we're going to get 5 or 6 cuts this year.
I hope not, because even though I do like lower rates for mortgages and for cars and everything else, one of the jobs of the Federal Reserve is to raise rates to slow the economy to a sustainable growth rate. Not that they're trying to kill it, not that they're trying to put people out of work, but their job is to kind of spoil the party either way. If the market's going terribly and the economy is doing very, very poorly, they lower rates. And so if here's the middle, this is a good, sustainable economy. Well, then what happens is if things go too poorly and we're going south and all of a sudden market's tanking, Unemployment rates are really high. There's no stimulating the economy. They lower rates to encourage people to buy cars, buy homes, and it forces the market back. And then when the market swings this way and starts going really, really well, the job of the Federal Reserve is to slowly raise rates in a way that will slow the growth back to the middle. Because the market's going gangbusters and you don't regulate it, you will have hyperinflation. Look at the pricing of homes over the past 10 years.
Right.
Out of sight. The pricing of
control.
vehicles in the past
Out of
10
control.
years. Everything's blown up. Why? Because the market was so good. People made so much money. People had so much more disposable income. As a result, there's a bidding war for Chevy Malibus. There is a bidding war for regular middle-class homes, making it to a crazy rate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the things they're supposed to do is raise rates, raise mortgage rates, which will thin the herd, lower the amount of people who can afford that, not for the sake of causing strife or problems or wrecking the economy, but saying, hey, you know what? If we don't get ahead of this, housing prices are going to run away from us.
Right.
Car prices are going to run away from us. And then you can't bring them back down.
Right.
Like it's really hard to get GM to take 10 grand less per car. You can't do it. So you have to do it in a way that slowly brings it back to the middle. Well, they were supposed to raise rates back in 2019, 2020. 2019, President Trump didn't want them to raise rates because he didn't want to slow down the way the market was booming. And in 2020, nobody wanted them to raise rates because the COVID crash happened. And out of an abundance of fear and caution, they kept them low to try and keep the market recovering. Well, then it recovered like gangbusters. Nobody slowed them down in 2021. So then hyperinflation just takes off, goes out of control. In 2022, we have a problem. And even though we were told 9% was the number on quite a few things, on a lot of things, it was way worse than 9%. On groceries, we have 4 kids. I can tell you groceries are up way more than 9%, 6%, 3%. I would give anything for those numbers, but we don't have them. Our grocery bill has doubled in the last 2 years. And so that's something we have to factor in. Every family has to deal with these things. And when I sit down, really, the people I feel like it hurts the most are those on a fixed income. A lot of my clients, especially I think of this one couple, when they came into retirement, they had a number and it was about $5,000 a month. $5,000 a month gives us our restaurant money, our grocery money, our spending money, our gifting money to kids and grand. Like everything we need is $5,000 a month net. That's all we need. So we ran that and built a plan. And from that, they got a lot of comfort knowing, all right, based on this, with regular inflation, this is back in 2018. With regular inflation, we'll be fine. All of a sudden, here comes 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. Their $5,000 a month has blown up to about $7,500 a month in just 5 years. So it's gone up 50% in 5 years. Now, the benefit they have is their mortgage didn't go up at all. God forbid if they had an adjustable mortgage at this point, right?
Right.
But their mortgage didn't go up at all, but they had to buy a new car, but rather than paying 2%, they're paying 7%. Their groceries have gone up quite a bit. The cost of snowbirding has gone up quite a bit. A lot of the stuff that they do has just really gone up. Even going out to eat at a restaurant has gone up.
Yeah.
So now we had to really calibrate numbers. Luckily, when we built a plan out for them over the next 35 years of their life in retirement, we built in an awful lot of contingencies, a lot of what ifs, and we run a lot of different scenarios. And one of the scenarios was a hyperinflation model, which said, how would we adjust in the future if things got out of control expensive? And so by running that plan, we didn't have to create anything new. We just sat with them and said, hey, as you can tell, things are getting more expensive. You see it on your credit card statement. We see it in the withdrawals you're taking. We need to make an adjustment to this model because we knew in 2018 when things were cheap, good, and easy, right, that there could be a potential problem down the road. And so since we activated that, we went through with them because when you sit with someone at a conference table and they know they're supposed to be spending $5,000 a month and they come in and they say, we need more money. And it's not to be extravagant. It's just to live the lifestyle we've been waiting for. They're coming in, and it's really weird because it's not who we are as people. It's not who we are as a firm. It's not who I am. But they come in almost very sheepishly, and they're embarrassed. And they feel like we're screwing up. We're messing up retirement. And it's going to cost us money, and it's going to derail the whole plan. But the job of a financial advisor is not to slap on the wrist with a ruler, not to browbeat. It's to, we always joke, it's 95% counselor, 5% finance. It's just to help people know they're going to be okay. So I remember as we sat with them going through this meeting and they come in just petrified, like we're wrecking everything. This is all we've got. And I went through and said, nope, this is why we build the plans. This is why you build an exit strategy before you go into the battle. You need to know if things go this way, here's what we do. And so all we did is we made some adjustments. We calculated some things. And I said, here's what I need you to do. I will do my part. We'll do everything we can. I just need you to keep track. I'm not asking you to spend less. I just need you to keep track on a month by month of what is an actual regular expense and what is just discretionary that's popping up. That's one off. You know, your garage door breaks. Well, that's $3,500 to get fixed. Okay. That's not going to happen every month. Let's just separate these lines. And after about 2 or 3 months of just having these conversations, having coffee, talking, meeting, running through the numbers, we were able to bring them back to a place of peace. Because at the end of the day, retirement is about just enjoying the days, enjoying those moments, and not stressing over stuff that you can't even control. You can't control inflation. You can't control the government. But when I sit down with a couple and we talk it through and they walk in, and I can sense it right when they walk in the meeting, you know, because normally when we sit down, everybody's laughing, joking, talking about kids, talking about grandkids, sharing stories, sharing vacation trips. Yeah. And they weren't like that. They came in very somber. And I was like, what's going on? You know, because I just thought we're getting back together to do a review. I didn't know we were having this meeting that they were so frustrated by. And they said, here's where we sit. Here's our frustration. Here's what's going on. So we reran the numbers. And again, it wasn't a quick conversation, but it's a plan that we put together to help them understand that they're going to be okay. And from that, you can have peace. But until you know you're going to be okay, you lose sleep. You don't have comfort. And all of a sudden, it's not your retirement anymore. It feels like someone's taking it away from you. Having a good plan says you keep control of it.
All of the things that have happened, talk about feeling out of control. Since 2020, there is not an investor or a saver in this world that feels like they've lost control. You can't find one.
No.
Because we're all standing here watching all of this stuff spin all around us and we're like, hello.
Well, think about the compound effect of 2020. So you shut people out of restaurants and you shut down cruises and you shut down vacations and you shut all these things down. So then you've got someone who retired a few years, 2018, and says, I got this bucket list of things I want to get done. And we know that the first 10 to 12 years of your retirement are the healthiest years of your whole life. Yeah. So whatever big things you want to get done, you need to get them done then. And we really encourage people towards that. It's called the must-go years. Yeah. You need to go do everything on your list. And about 2 years of their must-go years were taken away from them. And they're very nervous about that because now we got to do it. So then in 2022, they're jamming 3 vacations into a 1 vacation budget. They weren't allowed to go out to eat for a couple of years with all their friends and they felt disconnected from their friends. So now we're going out more than we normally would. Maybe we're a 2 to 3 times out a month family, but because I'm trying to get back with my friends and I want to make up for lost time, I'm going out 4 or 5 times a month. So they weren't doing anything wrong. They were just trying to make up for lost time because time is the commodity fighting against retirees. So we're healthy, we're able-bodied, we're excited to do it, we're motivated, and we have the money. We want to go do those things. It's not the job of a financial advisor to say, don't do it. It's the job of a financial advisor to map out detailed strategies to make sure you do. And that's where the conversations go from concern to peace, from frustration to, fulfilling dreams. Most of the time, these conversations start out with a cup of coffee. They're very rarely right deep in the weeds. But if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, if you know someone who needs to have these conversations, go to our website. It's lifeplanwealth.com, lifeplanwealth.com. There's a button on there that says start your retirement roadmap today. And really the whole goal is just to understand where you sit, where you want to go, what you want life to look like, and map out a plan that gives you the pitfalls, the opportunities, the traps, the hazards, all the things along the way. Make sure that we've addressed them, that we turn fears into confidence, that we turn paranoias into peace. If we can take care of that, it all starts with a conversation. So lifeplanwealth.com, click on the button, start your retirement roadmap today. We have coffee together and we chat and make sure that whatever you want life to look like, there are plans in place, not just for today, but for the what ifs and the potentials for the future.
I think that the biggest takeaway for anybody to know, particularly those who are getting close to or have just entered into retirement, is to know that despite how out of control everything feels, there are opportunities for you to take the control back. You do have control over your money, over your retirement, the things that you want to do with your family and your friends. This is the work that Mike and his team do every single day in the office. And they are ready to sit down and begin this conversation with you as well, to show you what your opportunities are, to help you feel better about the direction that you are headed. You've got so much opportunity in front of you. These are the years you've worked so hard to get to. You deserve to live them the way you want to. And that's what Mike and his team are ready to help you figure out. Lifeplanwealth.com, again, is our website. We also have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there as well. Or again, find us anytime. Lifeplanwealth.com.
Thanks for listening to Michigan's Retirement Coach with Mike Douglas. To learn more, visit lifeplanwealth.com. Michael Douglas is an investment advisor representative of Stewards Wealth Planning LLC, a registered investment advisor. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Michael Douglas is licensed in your state, please call 517-323-7526. Stewards Wealth Planning LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Michael B. Douglas, NPN number 9650939.